Hello everyone, welcome to the Illities. I'm Tim Marsh, founder and head of strategy at MDB. And today we're going to do a two-part session on counterfeiting. In particular, I'm going to be demonstrating to you what I call the counterfeiting network diagram. This is a diagram I created more than a decade ago when I found it helpful in explaining to clients how counterfeiters actually work behind the scenes across the supply chain to get their fake products into the hands of unknowing patients. So we're going to cover it in two parts to make it quick and easy for you to consume, and of course share more broadly if you know anyone who would be interested in understanding this information. So let's get started. So counterfeiters need two things. Just like any manufacturer of products needs two things. They need a means or methods to actually make their product, and they also need a market or markets to sell their products. So that's how we have the diagram split up, and today's first session here will be on means, and we'll do the second part on markets. The top right is our key, so the circles represent nodes in the supply chain. You have counterfeit and criminal, you have gray market and or slash criminal, and then you have legitimate and unsuspecting nodes in the market. In the center is our main actor or actors. It's typically not just one entity that's distributing fake products into a market, but it's much easier to just illustrate it that way for the sake of the diagram. One of the primary or easily employed methods of a distributor of counterfeit products is to obtain stolen pharmaceutical product. This is stolen finished goods. Might be stolen actually from a warehouse, a pharmacy, or a transport vehicle. Obviously, pharmaceutical companies take a lot of pains, go through a lot of machinations to try and prevent this from happening, but it does happen. It's not as common as just the downright faking of entire products and finished goods, which we'll talk about here, but it does occur. So this distributor, they need counterfeit finished goods, right? They need a primary, secondary packaging of the product itself in order to pass on to customers downstream as we move to the patient. That finished goods doesn't just typically get created all in one location. It's made up of components from other actors in the supply chain. Here we show counterfeit drug product node, and then we have a packaging node, which illustrates that there's probably a printer involved in making packaging. There's probably a drug product or a lab of some sort making drug product, whether it's solid oral dose or an injectable. And they're brought together by the finished goods node into a finished package. There's usually more than one of these in the network, any given node. I'm showing just a few here for simplicity. One of the other ways they accomplish finished goods is to reclaim authentic packaging. And in this case, we have the green node out on the far right, which is illustrative of authentic package that might have either been scavenged from a waste stream, inappropriately of course, or in some cases directly from patients who have been administered or given the product as part of their therapy. So that's essentially the simplified version of an upstream network of counterfeiter activities and other illicit actors creating packaging and primary packaging components. How does this relate into the real world? Well, I already talked about how stolen products make their way from secure locations to unsecure locations. But authentic packaging in particular, how does this occur? Well, it can be stolen from waste streams. One common occurrence we also see is that it's actually purchased from patients. So patients, for example, exiting a oncology clinic might be approached by someone offering to give them $20, $30 or euros for their packaging. They leave them with the tablets or the injectable material or product, but they want the actual outer packaging. and that's amassed and then used as reclaimed packaging and set along in the supply chain, sold along, I should say, to make more authentic looking counterfeit product, as an example. Okay, so that is part one. That's the means. Stay tuned for part two, and we'll go through markets.